for EEI Late Night with KJ.
Young Luis Patino delivers, and there's a drive left field, high and deep, back by the wall, gone! Red Sox win it! Christian Vasquez, a two-run homer, can you believe it? 6-4 Boston in 13 innings, and Vasquez getting mobbed, fires his helmet in the air as he approaches home plate and is being mobbed. 6-4 Boston, they lead the pivotal series, Game 3, they win it. They are 2 games to 1 in front of the Tampa Bay Rays as Vasquez hits a walk-off. The kick and the pitch. Swing, there's a drive to left center field, it's going to win it. Meadows goes over and makes the catch, Santana tags, here he comes, and the throw is very wide and late, and the Red Sox have won the division series. A sacrifice fly by Kiki Hernandez, bringing home Danny Santana with a winning run. Red Sox walk it off 6-5. Actually, they run it off with Santana scoring, and Boston moves on to the American League Championship Series.
Keep it going, Justin. Late night, WEEI, it's KJ. There are certain songs you pull out for what you have seen since last Saturday night with these Red Sox. Hope you're doing well, staying safe. You probably had to do a few extra electrolytes over the last couple of days while at work. Hey, it makes total sense. This is how we do it in New England. You know why this reason? You know what the reason is? Justin, how are you this week? How are you tonight?
It's been a stressful week, but I'm doing better now.
You know, it's a good stressful when there's a lot going on. It's a bad stressful when a lot bad's going on. So coming up, you'll hear my thoughts on John Gruden. That's coming up in the next hour. And we're going to try and get you some ways to some money in Parlez-Vous at 10:54 here, late night on WEEI. The reason why this Red Sox team is so exciting is because the last Red Sox team made it look like the Red Sox were going to be bad for a long time. Remember last year, the running jokes, hey, kid, keep your jersey. You might be back up here next week, especially if you can pitch. It was bad. I mean, think how bad it would have been if last year was this year, and they would have to pay money to go back and forth to Worcester on the Pike. They'd have to have, like, easy passes. Last year you didn't. You just sit in that 95 traffic back to Pawtucket. But that's what it was looking like. So the reason why there's so much energy and passion behind this team this year is because they were so bad last year. You remember? We were crying in our beer about Mookie. Mookie's gone. Goes off and wins the World Series immediately, just like the other guy, Tom. Think about this. Last year, at this time, we were boo-hooing about how literally Mookie Betts jerseys and Tom Brady jerseys were literally discounted everywhere. I thought Armageddon was on the way. Even Vegas, when the season started, said, give or take 81 games. In French, they say, comme ci, comme ça. And the money in Vegas was actually leaning to the Red Sox winning less than 81 games. It was the Yankees' division to win, hands down. I'll get to them in a moment. Matter of fact, why even get to them in a moment? They're gone. Boone may be gone. Let the Yankees worry about they got bigger problems than we have with excitement about these Red Sox. During spring training, shortly after I got to the station, I decided to look at the schedule. I said, Justin, you might remember this. Stop me if you've heard this one before. I said, the way the season opens for the Red Sox and the way that Major League Baseball works, and this is my philosophy, those teams that pay a whole lot of money, those teams kind of can be murky at the beginning of the year, but their bats will pick up. I knew the Red Sox could not afford that. And I said, you know what? The Red Sox have a schedule that if they go 15-12 in their first 27 games, they could be onto something because 15 times 6 would give them 90 wins. And 90 wins, according to the history of baseball, puts you in a very good position come October. Justin, do you remember what the theory was called?
The 27-game theory.
The 27 games at a time theory. I don't even know where the bit is where it played the old one game at a time and I used to sing 27 games at a time. People thought I was crazy. It was me and me alone who came up with the theory that said, look, with this manager who could probably win you 12 to 20 games on his own over the course of the season, I came up with this theory of 27 games at a time. I mean, people looked at me like I was homeboy from outer space. But the Red Sox went 17-10 in their first 27 games. The Rays and the Yankees went 13-14. That was the opening Alex Cora saw. If these overloaded teams, well, Tampa is kind of like a free lunch program for pitchers. You know what I mean, Justin? Like, can you pitch? Come on up here. We'll give you free lunch pizza on Fridays. You saw how that turned out. But that works for them. I've said here on WEEI late at night, when I was getting on Heim Balloon about, look, you can't spend Tampa prices for Boston dinners. I'll get back to my mea culpa regarding Heim shortly. But I knew early on that this manager, Alex Cora, had something to prove not only for his reputation, but for his career and for his talent. This is Alex the other night about fundamental baseball with this team.
Alex, can you go over how the run scored in the ninth with setting up by the bunt?
Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of people were talking about the bunt giving us away, but we didn't need to score 4 runs in the ninth. We only needed to score 1. Christian did a good job getting on base. Christian did a good job putting the bunt down. Travis did a good job putting the ball in play. Something we always talk about. And then, Kike put the ball in the air. Old school baseball right there, fundamental baseball. And we won the ALDS playing good fundamental baseball.
Old school baseball. It proves that managers like Alex Cora, Dusty Baker, who will face as well, that these guys who could put the dirt in their mouth and get it in the dugout and really connect with these players, damn Billy Bean in his analytics. Justin, I'm still trying to figure out how a guy who only had 300 at-bats is this guru of baseball. I would take Alex Cora sitting there next to Davey Johnson when Davey Johnson was managing the Dodgers at one point. And there's Alex Cora learning from a guy whose motto has been, there is a modern player, you allow them to be who they are, but you expect them to perform when they're at the park. Alex Cora has taken that old Davey Johnson formula and has applied it to this team this year. Now, Davey Johnson had some loaded weapons at that time, but they were all young, and so are these. Think about this. If you had asked yourself a year ago, would you not still be belly aching about Mookie over about $5 million? No one's talking about Mookie Betts. That's amazing. Oh, people are still talking about Tom Brady for good reason. That's still coming up in Patriots talking a little bit. But Alex Cora has proved that knowing the game at the dirt level pays off. To be able to play a National League style of ball in the American League where nobody does it. Who bunts? Who bunts? So, yeah, I was the intelligent idiot talking here about this 27 games at a time theory. People were laughing at me, and I was just like, you know what? Ho, ho, ho. The Red Sox won 92 games. Justin, I was 2 games off. Is that Vegas worthy? Is it not?
I'd say it is. 2 games. I mean, that
2 games off.
Close as you get.
I didn't even freak out when the Sox lost the opening series to the Orioles. I just said they had to turn it around against Texas at that time. They had to put their foot into a couple of people, and they did that. But I also knew it would get tough at some point. So look, Alex Cora, Vegas said 81 wins. Alex Cora got him another 9, 10, 12. He got him another 11 wins. But knowing what I saw with the Yankees payroll and the Rays free meal for pitchers program, that something was going to turn into this perfect storm. I'm coming back kind of like giving you my book report of what we were going through emotionally, but what was actually happening. Again, you knew the Yankees would make their run, but they would sputter out. There wasn't the heart. Now, Aaron Boone, I think he's more one of those kind of guys. He's like George Costanza in Seinfeld. He just happens to work for the Steinbrenner family. There's nothing really about Aaron Boone. Now, if it was Bob Boone managing, his father, I would say, yeah, that guy may have some tricks up his sleeves. But Aaron Boone is just very good in a suit. It feels like he's wearing a suit in the dugout. Alex Cora probably has a number on underneath it. Give me that number 2. I know you wear number 2, Zeta, but give it to me too. You just won't see it on television. There's a difference. And with the Rays, let's just face it. Once this season, after Saturday night, you're like, okay, this is the little engine that can't. The pitching is spent. It's the same guy's going to be in there. It's like the lunch program at school, right? It's like, okay, Monday you got peanut butter and jelly. Tuesday it's tuna. Wednesday it's like mac and cheese. Like Thursday's hamburger and Friday's pizza. At least you know what the menu was. With the Rays pitching staff, God bless them. I think we have some mac and cheese left in the back. Maybe if you want to mix it with some of the peanut butter and jelly and see what you get. You can't win that way. And I think that was part of the worry when nothing was done at the trade deadline. 617-779-7937 or 37937. It's KJ late at night. Brian and Natick, go ahead, man.
Hey, KJ. Hey, I just want to let you know that I followed your math this summer. I wasn't skeptical. I was a believer. And you were right on. I want to just ask, though, as a loyal Red Sox fan, they've definitely, overcome quite a bit this year. So excited that they're in the ALCS. But when you talk about the fundamentals and the way you led the conversation tonight, which is a great job, I want to just ask and throw it out there. What's the probability and the chance of a Red Sox Atlanta Braves World Series where even the Red Sox could be the home team? That's what I want to ask. I'm just going to sign off.
That's intriguing, and that's real. Thank you, Brian, for the call. And Natick.
Thank you.
Some people say, how far back can you remember baseball? Without telling my age, I've watched every World Series since 75, okay? And the one thing that always seems to pop up is who can play the small ball in almost like a little league setting. This may sound crazy and very simplistic, but think about it. Errors become bigger. Think, for those of you who are old enough who can remember, think Joaquin Andújar for the Cardinals not getting over to first quick enough against the Royals, and the Royals win the World Series with a much inferior team. Okay? This is through the history of the game. And what I find intriguing about how the Sox can line up against Houston, I want to talk about that before I can address the Braves, is the games that are going to be at Fenway are going to be in the 50s. And the Astros play in a dome. And I believe that if the Red Sox could split those first two, they could win the next 3 at Fenway. In fact, Kike Hernandez was talking about just how electric Fenway has been the last couple of weeks.
It was great. It was awesome. The atmosphere here in Fenway ever since we got back to 100% capacity. The last few weeks, the energy has been unbelievable. Definitely helps us, bring our game a little bit up. And, nobody said it was going to be easy. And, we got off to we got that 5-run lead early, and we weren't able to tally. And, they have a heck of a ball game. Ball club, they did it to us last night. They came back in the 8th again. But it was a matter of, keep grinding, keep don't stop till we win. And that's what we did.
You could still feel the electricity through the soundbite. Boston, New England, everyone hearing on the Sports Radio Network right now, realize that the Boston Red Sox are carrying Major League Baseball right now. Want proof? My father's a 70-year-old black man. He hasn't been interested in baseball since he took me to games, and I stopped playing. Talked to him a few nights ago about the game. Not game before game 2, maybe game 1, watching the Sox game. Guess who got a text yesterday morning? Did you see the Sox game? Did you see it? Then I turned to Monday Night Football. Did you hear? You're going to see that this team is carrying the league and its viewership. It's what I've always said. There are pillars to Major League Baseball, and the Red Sox are one of them. The Bruins, that's a different pillar they're holding up. It's also another country. They're trying to hold up Canada, too. But the Red Sox are one of the 4 pillars of Major League Baseball, and the excitement that's happening at Fenway is spreading through the television, through the radio. In this industry, we call through the ether. So absolutely, that same energy could see the Red Sox win 3 games and go to the World Series, just off of the energy and a cold October night. The Braves, I don't know. If you've got to face Max Scherzer along the way, that's a lot of rosary beads and prayers. So if it's Dodgers, Red Sox, beautiful. 617-779-7937. It's KJ Late Night here on WEEI. Phil in New Bedford, thanks for holding on. You're on WEEI. Go ahead.
Hey, KJ, it's been a while.
It has been. He's noticed. He noticed. I haven't been here in a while.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you're doing, keep it up because I like this new focused energy, for lack of a better word. Back the first time I heard you say it was game 25, and you were saying I'm trying to, you said formulate, because I believe it, about this 27 game break it down through the season. Yep.
Right.
Then when they started in the slide in July, I had talked to you, and they had lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
And you said just before I got on the air, basics and fundamentals. But what about this defense, man? In this series, I think overall was the best defensive series they've played all year.
Absolutely. I think after
the bats were doing what they were doing, but the defense and the fundamentals, and you and I were talking about that was missing when they began that July slide.
Yeah, I think what happened, and I'm not sure, but I'll just take a guess. Phil, thanks for the call. Is when you started hearing whispers of, oh, God, this feels like 78 again. I think some people probably at the core level explained to them what had happened in 78, the collapse. And it started to feel like, well, different than 78, which was injuries. These were injuries and on the field. Like the COVID, you pull out of the COVID game for Xander or the multi-error game. The Texas series, there were just these things that seemed to be adding up that said, wait a minute, you guys have the power to stop this and make things happen. If this was a really good defensive team that couldn't hit the ball, then, it's just kind of like, just take her to the prom. She wants to enjoy the evening. Take a picture with her. But that's not the case. Okay, Justin, I know that might have been wrong to say that, right? That was my situation. But this team could hit. And if you could pick up the fundamentals, you can get it done. In fact, this is Alex talking about how he felt there were similarities between what's happening now and 2018.
How much do you think that meant to him? He's been kind of looking for a postseason moment, and what he was able to do tonight.
I mean, it was very similar to what he did in LA, right? We burned our starter yesterday trying to get a win and knowing that Eddie was capable and he's talented. And, the same thing he did in LA, except the manager took him out earlier than this one instead of letting him have 2 on and facing all the righty. So he was amazing. Good fastball, good changeup, good cutter. That lineup lately against lefties has been really, really good. They've been hitting the ball hard, starting with Randy. He's been amazing. Franco from the right side is very dangerous. And, Eddie, he was great. I'm very, very happy for him. Everybody knows what happened last year and the up and downs of this season. And for him to go out there and give us a chance to win, it means a lot.
It means a lot. See, I was one of those that was screaming from the hilltop at the deadline, Heim, why didn't you do something? And as I've said here from time to time, I have no problem being wrong if the result is better than what I was wrong about. I didn't think that Kyle Schwarber couldn't hit. I just didn't think he could play first base. There was a little bit of evidence of that the other night. Well, last night. I mean, they did take... I've never seen a player go in as a defensive replacement and then when it's time for them to come up to bat, they get pitch hit for. So that was an issue. But I will say this. There was a belief in this team that I believe that management and upper management for the Red Sox had kind of a come to Jesus moment Some people know what that means. Other people are kind of like, what does religion have to do with it? It's just what it means is like, look, you've got one feeling over here, you got another feeling over here. Heimblum talked about it.
I think we felt we had a good team with upside, and we had to do the right things to win ball games. I think we showed it over the course of the season. It wasn't always pretty, but when we played our game, we played well, when we were locked in, focused, we can hang with anybody. That team that we beat is outstanding, and we found what it took to beat them in a 5-game series, and that shows what the ceiling of this team is.
I give Heim a lot of credit because the fan base was screaming for reinforcements. Pitching, first base, something this team is overachieving, reward them, give a dog a bone, knick-knack, paddywhack. By this point, nobody was thinking about the 2020 season. That was well in the rearview mirror. In fact, people's dreams were bigger than a Fleetwood Mac song when Chris Sale was coming back. I remember Brian Barrett was thinking that Chris Sale would be like the game 1, 4, and 7 stars. I'm like, chill, Brian. The guy just came off a TJ. And what's good for Chris Sale and what's good for the rest of this team is that Chris Sale's last outing was not game 1 of this series. He's got a chance to redeem it. It's almost like it's setting up perfectly for this team, for the fan base, for these redemption stories to keep fulfilling their prophecies and everything. Oh, Jesus, I feel like I'm at church right now, Brian. Where's the church organ? I'm kidding. But look, in Boston, we always want more. Hell, that's why they charge $250,000 for a parking spot. And rightfully so. Think about where the fan base was last year at this time. The Patriots were heading towards 7-9. Ugh. The Celtics, they were falling apart in front of everyone's eyes. And then the Kyrie incident happened. More on Kyrie next hour. Then the Bruins gave a lot of hope, a lot of confidence. The team was looking good and got punched in the face by the Islanders. And then this team came along in the middle of a pandemic. This is the first team that a person in Boston could go and see live. Was this team. It's why it's going to be such a memorable team. This is a lot of fun. But it's time to trend.
The Greg Hill Show, weekdays 6 to 10. Now